crochet is bad. I don't want to be good. I don't think you want to be good either. So let's get naughty together. And this week, I'm going to be discussing one of these crochet magazines that comes with a little kit. And because this happens to be a Christmas in July episode, the magazine I'm sharing with you today is a crochet magazine that is focused on various winter holiday patterns, ideas, and of course, the kit. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, in this week's kit and pattern review, I'm doing something a little different. I try to switch it up a bit with this particular monthly episode. And so this one, because it is Christmas in July, and I love Christmas in July, gets me excited for the holidays, I decided to go ahead with this crochet magazine that comes with a little kit inside. And so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to work up and review the little kit that they give in the magazine. And I'm going to take a look in the magazine itself. Now, yes, this is not a vintage magazine, but it is a few years old. However, I still think it has a lot of value, and it does show you what you can expect from this magazine. And sometimes the little kits that they give you within the purchasing price of the magazine. Now, this particular magazine I got super cheap. Let me see if I can see anything that indicates the actual cost of it, because they usually go for, like I've seen them recently, they go for anywhere from $10 to $20 depending on who's selling the issue, depending on the magazine. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, so at the time that this magazine was published, it was $13.99 in US dollars, and it was $14.99 in Canadian dollars. So this being a few years old, it's probably closer to the $20 mark now. I picked it up for like $5. So the reason why I'm bringing this to you is because I know this year is a little tight for everybody with what's going on politically and in terms of personal finances. And so I thought it'd be a good time to bring this out to show you that you can find these great deals. So it hasn't been opened. I will open it for you and we'll kind of explore it a little bit together. And just because this is a few years old doesn't mean the patterns and the information that comes inside it is any less relevant. The only difference is I spent like $5 on it, and I'm going to get a lot of use and value out of it. And of course, as an added bonus, I have the little elf kit, which is going to be super fun, I think. It's going to add a wonderful little holiday spirit to this July in Christmas, or Christmas in July, or whatever, the Yule winter holidays. That's right, winter holidays. So whatever you want to call it, it is the winter holidays. And in the middle of summer, here in the States, it's perfect for me. Okay, so here's the package. Now let me just go ahead and open this and we can explore. All right. So I think this Christmas-inspired magazine is perfect. It's going to give me some great ideas for little things to add to this year's festivities. And right as you open up the cover page, it shows us a little picture of the little elf project that comes with this magazine. And personally, I think he's kind of super cute. The piece itself isn't very sophisticated, but it is super cute, and I'm good with that. And then as you can see, there's all sorts of patterns in this particular magazine. So that's okay. So I kind of like this. I spent less on this than I would have a subscription box. And by what I saw on the cover of the magazine, I got to determine if I wanted to go ahead and purchase this or not, and clearly I did. So yeah, I think I'm going to just slip in this little side note. Yeah, for me, I think this is a great alternative to purchasing a kit. So here you can see they give some party hat ideas, and I think some kind of earrings. They look a little heavy, but all right. They also give you a basic sweater pattern, so that's pretty cool. So they give you a variety of things. So see here, you can even see that they have this little jumper that you can make for a small child. Some rock crochet art. So yeah, they got lots of, this is just full of lots of different ideas. Here's a pattern for, obviously it's a sweater, but it's a sweater that is a beginner sweater using a basic granny stitch. And then it even looks like that they're offering their own monthly swatch, where at least in these older magazines, where they give you the pattern for a particular swatch, and eventually you would have been able to make this fun sampler baby blanket, which I think is really cool. And then they give a cute little teddy bear rug as a gift idea. And they give you information on how to get a hold of that pattern. Yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty informative little magazine. Lots of cute ideas. I'm not unhappy with the magazine. It'll go on my bookshelf for sure. Now the Naughty Elf kit. So like I said, I mean, he's not sophisticated, but I think that's what makes him super cute. See what we got in here. Now I did notice that the actual instructions for this little guy came in the magazine itself. So let me see what we get in this. So yeah, it tells me I should have the yarn. So the back of it says I should have these yarns. I should have some safety eyes, a bell, and some Chanel stems or pipe cleaners, whatever you want to call them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 yarns. See, I think that's the 5th yarn and the 6th yarn. Got my little bell and my little safety eyes. I've got my Chanel stems. And then I've got a little bit of embroidery floss. So it looks like everything I should have is here. Of course, just looking at the yarn as it is, it doesn't feel, you know, it's not the highest quality yarn ever, but it'll do the trick. And it seems like a light worsted, maybe about a size 3. However, the brown yarn looks to be a 4 weight. And then, of course, this gold yarn is more of a decorative chain yarn. Okay, so let me just go ahead and via the magic of video, I will be right back with a completed piece and we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is how our little guy turned out, right? So sweet. But I bet you can tell there are a couple of differences than the actual image that was initially shown for this particular kit. For example, I made the belt just a little wider and I brought it down just a hair. At least this indicates, whether you like what I did with it or not, this does indicate that there was plenty of brown for the kit. There was also plenty of red for the kit. Well, let me back up with that a little bit. There was just enough red for the kit. So I guess there was plenty for the kit. Green was something different. So let me talk about the green. There was not enough green for the kit. So I got the shirt done, of course, the little tunic top. And then also the hat. So as I started working up the hat, there wasn't quite enough green to complete the several more rows that were required. And so, of course, the white they gave us was just enough white, but that didn't leave me with enough white to complete, or at least make up for the yarn we didn't have enough of in terms of the green yarn. So what I basically did was, you know, white is white. So I found some white yarn in my stash and I paired up the 2 yarns, the 2 different white yarns, with this eyelash yarn, because I have a bunch of novelty yarn that I like to work with from time to time. And so in that basket of novelty yarn, I have this eyelash yarn. So I just doubled that up with the white yarn that I was doing. And it gave me this wonderful little fuzzy fur look on my elf's cap. I actually think it turned out so much better like that. It really makes me smile when I look at it. So, yeah, was this magazine worth the few dollars I spent on it? Absolutely, because it's still full of so many different ideas and so many different patterns, that those patterns and ideas alone were worth the $5. And then, of course, you had this little kit. And even though I had to add a little bit of my own yarn, I have to say, this little guy was worth the price to admission. You know, he's every bit as worth a $5 kit. So you just can't go wrong, in my opinion, with these magazines and the kits that are involved, especially if you can find them and they're a few years old and you can get them for a really good deal. All right. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Sig. This is Crochet and Fiber, and you are always welcome back anytime. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye-bye now.